We start. I don't really need to apologize. So, one thing's for sure, everything's under control. I'm too lazy to think of, another episode for my other what ifs currently, but I will do it probably tomorrow. But, anyways, yeah, so I'm starting a new series because I just ended one like a few weeks ago. But, anyways, this is an Issei what if. I thought of this idea while taking a shower. Is it just me, or like is just taking a shower what really, like, whenever you're taking a shower you just start thinking a lot, as a matter of fact. But anyways, yeah, so this is what if Issei was betrayed. I know I made a lot of those in the past, but I never finished them. Well, I finished one, but that one was rushed. So I'm gonna redo it. This is the redo, and I'm actually gonna finish this one, and I'm gonna take it slow too. Okay, then, thank you very much. But anyways, yeah. So, where should I start off? Please tell me it's down. Perfect. Ew, disgusting. Yes. But anyways, yeah. So, we're gonna start at the Riser fight. Yeah. So, before the fight even happens, now I'm gonna be adding a new character. I really don't care. His name's Ray. Just Ray. Hold on. Alrighty then, Ray is, I wouldn't say an orphan. Ray just ran away from home. Ray ran away from home. Why? Because his parents were stuck up. He doesn't hate his parents, he just, doesn't really, want to stay with them. Ray is a really adventurous person. He's a cocky person, because, no. Cocky, prideful, yeah, egotistical person. He's kind of Gilgamesh, but not Gilgamesh, because Gilgamesh actually cares about the people that he actually bullies. Because surprisingly, I'll be honest though, he kind of cares about Shiro, but not at the same time. Like, let's be honest here. Gilgamesh, when he first fought Shiro and Saber, that nigga let them live. And it wasn't just from the kindness of his heart. He wanted to see them grow. I'm telling you this now, he wanted to see them grow. This man Gilgamesh cares and does not at the same time. I don't know how a nigga could do that. You know what? I really shouldn't be saying that, since I'm practically the definition of caring but not at the same time. But hey, who cares? So, yeah. But Ray doesn't care about people who are weaker than him. So, before the fight happens, before Issei even goes in, he gets dragged back. As basically, Ray, put chains around him, alright? Ray not used magic chains on Issei, and, to hold Issei down. As basically, Ray steps on the field, and everybody's wondering who's that, as basically Ria says, Ray? As basically, Ray says, oh, hey, Rias. As Ray says, alright, Riser, I'm gonna be the one fighting you. As Riser says, what about Issei? As Ray says, Issei has conceded the match. As everybody's shocked. And so is Rias, because she thought that Issei was gonna fight for her. So she's kind of pissed by this, without even knowing what's going on. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually proud of this idea of this what if. Why? It's because of the ship. I'll be honest with you, I like this ship. It's a really interesting ship. So, yeah. Basically, I was about to say Deku, I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, Issei, he's basically chained up right now, seeing the fight happen. Now, Ray is just toying around with Riser. We know damn well that if Issei really tried, he wasn't really that pissed in the Riser fight. He wasn't that pissed. He was mostly motivated. It's not even him being pissed. He's just motivated. There's a difference between Issei being pissed and motivated. He only gets pissed when it comes to Rias and the other girl's titties and stuff like that, so he doesn't really care. But anyways, yeah. So the fight finishes and everybody runs to the stage. Well, at least everyone in the Parage runs to the stage. Issei jumps on Ray, telling him thank you for saving me and from this marriage and stuff like that. As Issei was already released from the chains before everybody, well, got down. As basically, Issei, he went to the locker rooms, basically. The rooms that they went had to get ready. Now, Zex, he's perplexed about this. He's confused. Because if Issei were to concede, the first person who would know about it is him. Why? Because Issei wouldn't just tell the people that were in charge of the match that he concedes. No, he'd go to Zex himself to tell him he concedes. Why? Because he has more trust in Zex, and he would have to explain himself to Zex. Because Zex would actually ask for an explanation. The other demons would just think that he's weak and stuff like that, and yeah. So basically, Zex is confused, so he goes to where Issei's side was, but sees Issei's not there, so he gets his Issei's in the locker room. Now, he goes to the locker room, and, well, immediately after, well, he goes into the locker room, he's about to open the door, but then he hears banging. A lot, as a matter of fact. As, basically, he decides not to open the door and just listen. He hears banging, as Issei's just slamming the chairs around and stuff like that, and without the armor, without the sacred gear and stuff like that, as basically he's just slamming the chair. Zex thinks he's pissed. He thinks Issei is pissed due to the slamming, but then he enchants his ears with magic, and that's when he realizes it. Issei's not pissed. He's sad. He's in a state of sorrow. He's on the deep end. As basically he hears Issei crying. Basically, a soppy voice crying and stuff like that, saying, "You useless pervert, you can't even save the one you love, and now she's gonna get taken away from you. God damn it." As basically Zex is hearing this, and, well, he's feeling bad. He's feeling bad for Issei. Because he could already tell that, well, Issei had, well, feelings for Rias. Never told Zex, but he had feelings for Rias. Let's be honest here. It's basically, you know, Issei's still gonna keep the same length. If you don't know how long it is, it's 16 inches. So, that's a lot, right? Yeah, that's a lot. How does he have 16 inches yet such a small hand? It is said that the thumb, like that your pee size, is 3 times the size of your thumb. But let's not talk about that. All right, the boys can do that later. All right, pay attention. All right then, good. So, anyways, Issei, he's done, well, venting, crying, and stuff like that. He cuddles up in a ball, finishes crying, as basically his eyes are all puffy now. As basically he decides to leave now. He decides to leave and stuff like that. As basically, well, as basically Issei leaves room, completely no. Zex put concealment magic around him so he was invisible. Issei couldn't feel his magic or see him, but Drake could clearly sense it, but he didn't want to tell Issei, because he would worry on how that would affect Issei's current mental state. He already knew that Issei, well, was already feeling bad ever since his parents. Like, deep down, Issei has always been sad. He's had this state of depression. He's always been depressed, but not that depressed. The only reason he was happy was because, well, people found a use of him. Like, his friends found a use of him and stuff like that. And he really appreciates that because, well, he found himself to be useless. And now he's back to that place. He feels even more useless than before. And he decides that he probably shouldn't live. He plans to take his life, but he's incapable of doing that. He's tried multiple times, and he can't. Why? Because of Drake. Drake keeps healing him with his magic. Drake gets pissed. Now, Drake gets pissed, but, don't work like that. I think it's intense feelings that make the thing boost and stuff like that. Intense emotions. So yeah. So yeah. Now since Issei is sending out intense emotions like sadness, sorrow, depression, it keeps boosting. And Drake is not just boosting his power, he's boosting his healing ability. So Issei can't really commit suicide due to, well, that drawback. So yeah. Um will he have the boosted gear in the future? I'll be honest with you. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't know myself. I don't know myself. I don't think I'll give him the boosted gear. I think I'll give it to Ray. And I'm not gonna say that Drake betrays him too. No, Drake is not gonna like Ray. But he'll sadly have to give the power to Ray since, well, if Ray dies, he'll go to another person, and this person, hell, might not even be near Japan, might not even be Issei. For all he knows, it could be given to another demon and stuff like that, and they can cause catastrophe in the world. So yeah, that's basically Issei. He does that. As Issei's gonna look like this in the future, not like right now. His hair's still brown. But anyways, Issei, he's currently in the Gremory mansion, in his room, the room that they gave him, and stuff like that. Nobody's in the room. Why? Because they're planning a celebration party and a welcome back party since Ray came back and stuff like that. Riser learned from his mistakes and stuff like that. He became friends with Rias and stuff like that, trying to get a close friendship to her instead of just trying to take her as his wife and stuff like that. So yeah, this is not gonna be a harem. This is gonna be one ship. Why? Because of the ship. So basically, Issei is in his room and he's just staring up at the dark, empty ceiling. Like, it's quiet and stuff like that. As basically he hears a knock on the door as he says, "Who is it?" As Zack says, "Hey, Issei, it's me." As Issei says, "Oh, Sir Zax, come in, please." As Zax opens the door, as he says, "So, are you okay?" As Issei says, "Yeah, I'm fine," giving off that signature fake smile and stuff like that. Zax can clearly see through it and stuff, but he won't acknowledge it. As basically, Zack says, "Well, I just wanted to inform you that, well, this afternoon there's going to be a party for Ray to welcome him back and for defeating Riser and saving Rias. So I just came to give you the invitation to come." Now, Zex had to legitimately trick them into thinking that Zex was just gonna give it to a friend of his when he was gonna give it to Issei. So yeah, because right now Rias is not on good terms. Well, she doesn't have good thoughts of Issei right now. She thinks that, oh, he's a coward. He backed out. He didn't want to save her and stuff like that. His feelings were fake towards her and stuff like that. And the Parages are also pissed. So yeah, except for Kiba. Because Kiba's a real one. Kiba's a real one. Kiba's a real one. Because he can clearly see. He clearly saw through, well, Ray's lies. Because the Issei he knows. Now, one thing's for sure. He's been watching Issei, not because of the Parage, no, because he's an upperclassman. He's been watching how Issei acts and stuff like that, and he sees that Issei is a really determined person. If he wants something done, he's gonna do it himself. He's not gonna back down, due to his perverted ways. It's basically, the party is going well. Like, the party starts and stuff like that. Issei doesn't want to go. What Issei decides is he's gonna leave. Issei decides he's gonna leave to go to the human world. As Issei, he packs his stuff that night without anyone knowing and secretly leaves while the party is going on. As basically, Zex is at the party waiting for Issei to make an appearance. He thinks that Issei is gonna make an appearance. Well, to be more exact, he highly doubts it after how he saw Issei's true colors, basically. And Issei's true colors are not that of, well, red, but of a blue. A deep, shallow blue. It's basically Issei, he does that. As basically, Issei, he leaves. He leaves by that bullet train. He leaves by that bullet train. That same bullet train took him back to Earth. He packed his stuff and stuff like that. As Issei, he got home. He got home. Like, the only person that saw Issei leave was the dragon. Was like the dragon in hell. Yeah, that one that they fought. That was Drake's old friend and stuff like that. So, yeah. It's basically Issei, he's gonna be strong as hell. He's gonna be strong as hell. He's gonna be able to fight Big Red, Orphis, Albion, Drake, all together. And there's gonna be a specific way how I do it. Alright, hold on. Let me find something out real quick. Alright, I'm done what I need to do. So, basically, Issei, like, it's nearing the end of the school year. So, I'm gonna age them down. Issei, I think he was a junior before in the anime, right? Yeah. So, bump it down to sophomore, Rias and friends, juniors. Alright? Alrighty then. That's good. Pay attention to that. That's gonna be real useful. It's basically, Issei, he went home. He went home to that big ass house and stuff like that. And it's basically on the table he sees a letter from his parents telling him that, well, they went on, well, a break and they probably won't be coming back until Issei's next school year starts. As basically Issei says okay with an emotionless tone as he goes in his room and he goes to bed. He goes to bed. Now, Issei, he can't quite fall asleep. And Issei, he's getting really, 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 really depressed to the point where he's falling back to that dark place where he wants to start, well, slitting wrists. Kids, don't do that. If you want an alternative, take a plastic straw, bend that, just scratch it across your wrist. Best alternative ever. Yeah. At least you won't have the scars, right? Unless you really tried to get the scars. But I highly doubt anyone would want to do that. But hey, it's an alternative. Anyways, yeah. As basically, Issei, he goes to the kitchen. He gets a really sharp knife. Not like a big one with the teeth and the sharp teeth. No, just one that's able to cut you at the touch. Basically, he goes to the bathroom, starts slitting his wrist. Now, every time he slits his wrist, Drake keeps on healing him due to, well, the intense emotions. As he just keeps slitting her wrist and stuff like that. As basically, Issei during this, he keeps mentally yelling, he wants to die. He wants to die, he wants to die, he wants to die, he wants to die, and stuff like that. And he's not enjoying it. His emotions are just intense. Like, his emotions of being not emotionless, useless, garbage, a pervert, filth, and stuff like that are really just getting at him, right? He's just yelling them out. Not really yelling them out, but mentally he's screaming them out. Now we skip to a certain mythology. More to be exact, Chinese mythology. Yes. It's a goddess from Chinese mythology. You can guess what goddess it is. You can pop up to Google, pause the video, go to Google, and see the goddesses, Chinese mythology goddesses. One thing's for sure, it's not the Jade Emperor's wife. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. So, yeah. Have fun. And you may be wondering, Lotus, but don't you hate mythology? I'll be honest with you, the only mythology I actually hate is Greek mythology. Them niggas is not chill. Like, Egyptian mythology, they're probably the chillest one. Egyptian mythology, the chillest. Norse mythology, fucking shit up. Like, they are the living embodiments of fuck around and find out. Now, Chinese mythology is chill. But also fuck around and find out. But also disrespect at its finest. Because of what they're capable of. It's because of what they're capable of. That's crazy. But anyways, capability doesn't distinguish what you can and cannot do. But anyways, yay. So basically, Issei. Oh yeah. So that goddess basically is hearing, well, voices. She is hearing, well, voices, prayers, and stuff like that. Basically, mental thoughts that, well, the negative mental thoughts. But there's one mental thought to her that, well, is louder than the rest. And that one is obviously Issei. She's just hearing Issei's intense emotions to want to die, how he feels about himself and stuff like that. And it's really saddening this goddess. The cicadas are loud as hell. Hold on. So the goddess is feeling sad, pity, sorrow. Because now, at this point, his emotions are just seeping into her mental state now. Like, shit, you could have a positive outlook on the world. One shit can fuck you up real bad. It's basically, she's just hearing this cry of pain, sorrow, hatred, and it's towards one person. It's not Ray, it's not Rias, it's not the Gremory family, it's no one but himself. Which makes her feel even more sorrow. Because at this point, he doesn't even have an enemy. His only enemy is himself. I mean, shit, one's greatest enemy is himself. See what I did there? Alright then. So, basically, she feels sorrow. Now, she wants to go to, well, see Issei and see how he looks and stuff like that, how he's going, but she notices that he is still awake. Since she doesn't want to be seen, it's not that like she doesn't want Issei to see her, she just thinks it's not the appropriate time for Issei to see her. If that dog does not shut the fuck up, I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna feed that nigga some chocolate. Hold the fuck up. Anyways, ignore that. It's still loud. I'm pissed. I want to yell at it to be quiet, but I can't. Anyways, it's basically, he does that. As basically, Issei, after a whole hour of trying to, well, hurt himself, but gets healed and stuff like that, and Drake is healing the scars too. So, yeah. He decides that it's not worth it at this point, and he just goes to his room, lays down, since he's tired from not only blood loss and stuff like that, but he's sleepy. So, he falls asleep, right? The moment he hits the bed, gets under the covers, sleep. Alright, so yeah, he sleep. As basically, that's when the goddess, I'll say who the goddess is in the future, as basically, the goddess says, well, alright then. So basically, yeah. So, the goddess goes and looks at Issei. Now, it was at this time that Zex, like before this goddess showed up, Zex noticed that Issei seemed to not come and wasn't coming. So he decided to go check up on Issei. He went to the Gremory household, saw Issei had disappeared, and he went to check his house. Now, he knocked on the door, but he didn't get a response, so he decided to, well, let himself in. As, you know, he looked around the rooms until he got to Issei's room, and he saw Issei in the room, sleeping. Now, he was about to enter the room until a shiny golden light appeared in the room. As this room is then filled with the golden light until it disappears. As Zex looks and basically Zex says, well, as basically Zex sees the goddess. As he sees the goddess fondle Issei's hair, kiss his forehead, so she can at least relieve some of the pain, since she doesn't feel like she can help him the way he is right now. She's not strong enough to do that due to his intense emotions towards himself. Because basically, she does that. Now, while she's fondling his hair, she then stares to the corner and says, "Who's there?" As Zex says, my apologies, goddess. And before he could even say the name, he feels this spike of, well, energy. He doesn't know what this energy, he knows what the energy is, but he doesn't know which of the three energies it is. He knows it's one of the three, but she doesn't know which one it is. Because this goddess has three, alright? Magic, I'll say the other twos later. So, yeah. It's basically, as basically the goddess says, do not speak my name. And once I leave, you are to not tell this boy nor anyone of my interference with the human life. When the time comes, I will come get the boy. You shall not interfere. As basically, he says, yes, ma'am. As he's quite fearful, she's not sending kill intent at him or anything. He's just fearful due to her power. Because, well, Chinese mythology, gods and goddesses are just walking flexes and disrespect when it comes to power. Like, yo, this goddess, especially this goddess, another god, like, they're just built different. Like, for real, they're just built different. Like, they're just walking flexes. The funny thing is, you think they be cocky as hell? They're not. The only cocky one is the Jade Emperor. Like, bro, what? And that man's not even that cocky. Yo, that man is not even that cocky. He's just prideful about his title. He's not even that cocky. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Oh, I dare somebody to say in the comments that Greek mythology is the best mythology. That shit is ass, bro. Yo, the gods in Greek mythology, yo, there are no limits to them. Like, the only ones that actually limit themselves are Persephone, Demeter, Hades. Zeus is a pedophile. Aphrodite's a hoe. Poseidon's a rapist. Apollo's a hoe. Artemis, Artemis is a bloodthirsty bitch. Alright. Athena, bloodthirsty. Ares, bloodthirsty. There are no limits to their shit, bro. Anyways, let's continue. It's basically Issei. He sleeps peacefully, soundly that night, and it's the next day, and it's time to go to school. Issei, he's walking to school and stuff like that, and he goes to the school, and guess who he sees? Yup. Shit. Done. It's none other than Ray and the Parage. As Issei, he ignores them, and he just walks past them. As basically, disgusting. How dare I say that? Rias notices this and she says, Issei, as Issei turns around and says, yes, Rias, as he immediately gets a slap to the face, as he's not shocked by this. As he says, what was that for? As Issei says, how dare you forfeit that match to save me? As, like, there's a sound barrier around them. As Issei says, but I didn't. As Rias says, you're a liar. Ray said you did. He even explained how you gave up. As Issei looks at Ray. Ray smirks. He's behind everybody and he smirks. As Issei says, if you believe him so much, then believe him. I don't have a say in this matter anyways. After all, I'm just a measly pawn. As Rias, noticing what she just did, wanted to apologize, but she still had hatred for him for what he did. So she's holding a useless grudge. It's basically Issei, not caring, just goes inside. Alright then, that's good. As Issei, he does that. As basically, once Issei does that, well, he goes inside his class, Issei, he does his work. He paid attention, stuff like that. And it's not surprising the teachers. It's not surprising the teachers at all. Because Issei, he pays attention to class. It's just that, well, he acts like a pervert. So, yeah. The usual happens. Perverted shit. Classwork, studying, and shit like that. Like, let's be honest here. Issei's friends actually study. They actually do work. Sure, they may be perverts, but they actually do work. So, Yeah, Issei may not be top of the class, but he does work and he tries his hardest nonetheless. It's basically, Issei, he's walking and stuff like that. Every time he passes by, Rias, Akano, or anything like that's class, he's just getting, glares from the Parage and stuff like that, except for Kiba. Like I said, Kiba's a real one. Kiba don't believe no bullshit about his man's Issei. He knows how Issei acts, so he's not delusional like the others. It's basically Issei. He says, "Alright," as basically Issei, he continues doing this, and this goes on for, well, like this is like they're currently in May. May is about to finish. June's about to start, and in summer break. As basically, it's basically, yeah, that's kind of what happened. It's basically, summer break is usually like 70 days, I think, 60 to 70 days. So yeah, 70 days. Yeah. So basically, Issei, he does that. It's basically, the day's been going by and stuff like that. But Issei, throughout the day, she's been getting weaker and weaker. And it's not something that the goddess did to him. No, it's not that at all. He's just been getting weaker and weaker. It's basically Issei, he's been losing life force, he's been getting weaker and stuff like that. Drake's been noticing this, and he tries to heal Issei's body, giving him more life force, but he's just, well, incapable of doing that. And because he's already dead, so he can't really do that. So, Issei, it's the last day of school, right? Everybody's celebrating and stuff like that. Ria says to the Parage to go to, well, to go to her house and celebrate and stuff like that. It's basically, yeah, that's how it is. As basically, Issei goes home to sleep because Issei has been feeling more tired lately. More tired. He even falls asleep in class now, which is really concerning the teachers because Issei's usually not like that. And his friends as well. It's basically, Issei, he passes out. Issei, he goes at home and he passes out. And he's not sleeping anymore. He's in a coma. He passes out on the floor and he's in a coma. It's basically, you know, Brias goes home and stuff like that. Zex asks, "Where's Issei?" And Brias scoffs at this and says, "Why do you care about Issei so much? He didn't even bother trying to save me," as Zex glares at her but says nothing. Because he's thinking right now that his sister's an idiot. A really big idiot. It's basically, Issei, he goes. Issei, he passes out. And the goddess says, "I think it's time." As Zex, he was just about to go get Issei. And the goddess appears. As basically, Zex sees this and he says, "You've come to get him." As the goddess says, "Yes, it is time." As Zex sees Issei, like they decide, like they're outside the room right now. As basically, they go inside and see Issei passed out on the ground. As basically, they rush over to Issei and Zex checks Issei's pulse and he says he's in a coma. As she says, "Oh no, this is bad." As Drake, he finally activates, showing himself to the goddess, who already knew he was there. As she says, "Drake, what is it?" As Drake says, "This is my last time being with this boy. Now that he's in a coma, I'm unable to sustain life inside of his body. He's currently in a state of life and death, but it's mostly death. Tell the boy when he wakes up, I enjoyed our time together." As Drake slowly fades away. As the two nod and said, "Yeah, we will." As basically, the goddess says, "I will take him back to heaven so he can be healed. As basically, he said yes, but how long will he be? As she says, for the next until the next school year starts. See what I did there? Alright then. As he says, oh, so I won't see him during summer break, huh? As she says, yes. It's basically, she takes Issei. And she goes. A golden light flashes again and two disappear. It's basically, they get there and she rushes. She rushes to none other than Buddha as she barges into Buddha's place on her flying lotus. I mean, shit. Only three of them have a flying lotus. There's two Buddhas and her. So yeah, as she says, Buddha-sama. As Buddha says, huh? Oh, hello there, Kuan Yin. As yes, this is Goddess Kuan Yin, the goddess of mercy. Little backstory on her. She's the goddess of mercy. She always wanted to help the human race, but the cries were getting too out of hand, which it started to split her head into thousands into 1,000 pieces and stuff like that. But she was sadly healed by Buddha. As basically as Buddha healed her, but in exchange she gained 10,000 arms, which means she was able to help a lot of people at the same time, which now her potential is limitless and she's strong as hell. I don't think she's achieved nirvana. So yeah. It's basically so yeah. And she's a Taoist and a Buddhist. So yeah, she has Taoist energy, magic, and QI. So yeah. So basically, she's probably big. She's one of the big body niggas in mythology. As she's over here panicking, saying, "Please save him." As Buddha looks at Issei, and he looks at Issei, and he says, "What's so?" As he looks at Issei closely, and this time he opens his eyes. He opens his eyes wider. His eyes are usually narrowed, so yeah. So he opens his eyes wider and he looks at Issei and he sees that Issei has a lot of sins that, not a lot, but still one sin, the perverted thing and stuff like that, sexual lust basically. And Buddha is surprised by why Kuan Yin is so worried about such a person. But he says maybe he'll find out when the boy wakes up. It's basically, time works differently in heaven and stuff like that. One day is practically 10,000 years for them, so yeah. So, yeah, one day is practically 10,000 years. It's basically, I was gonna make it 100,000, but I said no. 100,000, I'm too lazy for that. Nah. You know what? 100,000 it is. Yeah. It's basically, he passes out. Buddha heals Issei with relative ease, as he assures her that, Issei's gonna be fine, but he won't be waking up right now. He'll probably wake up in the next 7 days. So basically, the next week. So we skip to 700,000 years later. So we skip to 700,000 years later, or 7 days, and Issei, he slowly wakes up. He slowly wakes up to find himself in a grassy landscape on this lotus pebble. As basically, he wakes up and he says, what happened? As basically, they did surgery to remove the evil pieces from his body, all the magical power and the evil pieces were destroyed. Well, not destroyed, but dispersed into the air, turning it into natural magic. It's basically, yeah, that's what happened. So, yeah. So, Issei, he says, "Oh, what happened?" As he hears a voice say, "You're awake." As he then turns around and he sees this. As he says, "Huh? Who are you?" As Kuan Yin says, "My apologies, I haven't introduced myself." As she bows and says, "You are currently in heaven. My name is Kuan Yin, the goddess of mercy." As he says, "Goddess of mercy? What mythology?" As he thinks, since he's tired, he can't really think right now. As then he says, "Oh, you're from Chinese mythology. I wonder what's your reason for giving me mercy." As he then passes out. As Kuan Yin panics and she goes check him, but sees that, oh, he's just hungry. As she takes him, she goes get some food. Not like immortal peaches or anything like that. No, just some food. So, yeah. He's not strong enough to get the immortal peaches. So, yeah. That's basically, he does that. It's basically, yeah. So, he gives Issei food. Issei eats the food as she's finally rejuvenated. Yeah, it gives you energy quickly. So, like instantly energized. As he says, "Huh." As he gets up and he says, "What happened? Last I checked, I went to sleep." As Kuan Yin says, "Sadly, you did not go to sleep. You were in a comatose state." And she says, "Huh? Then am I awake? What year is it? How long have I been up?" As Kuan Yin says, "You have been in a comatose state for the past 700,000 years." As Issei says, "What? I have to go to school." As Kuan Yin, she chuckles a little bit as she says, "Don't worry, you're in heaven. Time moves differently in heaven than on Earth. On Earth, it was just 7 days of your summer break, which has just started." As Issei says, "Oh." As he says, "So what am I gonna do?" As she says, "Well, first I must take you to Buddha." As he says, Wait. You mean the Buddha?" As she says, "Yes," as she smiles a little bit. She's thinking that Issei would be, well, happy by this, but to her surprise, Issei frowns. Issei frowns, a sad frown, as she says, "Why is that?" As she peers through his mental state to see what he's thinking about, and he says, as Issei in his mind says, "Am I even worthy of meeting him? After all, I'm a pervert. He'll probably be disgusted by me." As basically, Kuan Yin sees this and he says, "Line up. I think that Buddha-sama would be glad to see you." As he says, "Okay." As she brings out lotuses, two lotuses, as Issei sits on one and she goes with him. Now, that assistant goddess that's always with Kuan Yin, he or she, I think it's a she, is currently, well, tending to her fish pond. So yeah. So basically, they go to Buddha. As Buddha, he's currently, well, he's currently writing scrolls, basically. He's currently writing scrolls and stuff like that. Journey to the West already happened, he's just writing scrolls. So, yeah. So, Buddha, he lets them enter and he sees Issei. As he tosses one of the scrolls to Issei, and Issei says, "What's this?" As Kuan Yin says, "These are scrolls with scriptures of Buddha." they can save, they can redeem even the, well, the worst of sinners. As Issei says, this is a high honor, I'll cherish it. As Buddha says, no need, child. It will disappear after you've read it. As Buddha says, then this is too valuable. As Buddha says, no, not at all. You deserve it. After all, Kuan Yin told me about your situation. As he looked over to Kuan Yin, as Kuan Yin said, basically chuckles a little bit, as Issei, he gets a blush by this. Buddha catches on immediately. Now, Buddha, he smiles. He smiles, a happy smile. Because he feels that Issei is probably the one for her. Be honest with you, Issei is probably one of the perverts in anime that I actually respect. Mineta is one of them too, be honest with you. You may be thinking, but Mineta is just a pervert for boobs and stuff like that. The crazy thing is, he's a pervert that actually, makes you feel good about yourself. Respectfully, he makes you feel good about yourself. There has never been a time that I have ever seen him fat shame anyone, body shame. No. If you have boobs, he still finds you hot. I mean, shit, he finds Jiro hot too. That's crazy. He finds all the girls hot. So, I don't know, man. Not body shaming. Hell, race doesn't even matter to him. As long as you're a female, you have breast assist, you can reproduce. Shit, that's good for him. I really need to put respect on my man Mineta's name. And the third one is Denki. Denki is more docile, but alright then. Anyways, Issei says, oh, okay, as Issei says he's gonna read it later, as he keeps hold of it, as basically Kuan Yin talks to Buddha about, he says they're currently drinking tea, as she talks to Buddha about, making Issei a Taoist for the next 8 million years. No. 7,300,000 years. As Buddha says, it's fine by me, but are you sure you want to make him a Taoist? As she says, you're right, I want him to be a Buddhist as well. As Buddha says, oh, so you would like him to be like you? As Kuan Yin says, yes. As basically, Buddha says, well, that's acceptable, but it's up to him. As they both look at Issei, as Issei, who was paying attention, and says, well, I don't really have anything I can do, so sure. As Kuan Yin smiles, a happy smile. As she says, well, we should probably get started by getting you basic cultivation books from the Jade Emperor, and some basic cultivation books from Buddha-sama here. As Buddha says, perfect, I was just thinking of creating a new one. As Kuan Yin says, oh wow, you're getting a handwritten, new technique from Buddha-sama. As he says, wow. As basically, Buddha just hands him 5 books with different cultivation. 2 for cultivation techniques. No, 1 for creation techniques, 2 for destructive techniques, 3 for longevity techniques, 4 for cultivation, 5 is the Buddhist palm, and stuff like that. And yeah, as Kuan Yin takes him to the Jade Emperor's palace and stuff like that, the Heavenly Palace, as basically they welcome her with open arms and stuff like that, seeing a new face and shit like that. As basically she asks for cultivation books, as they gladly give her 5 and stuff like that for Issei. And yeah, he got to know the Jade Emperor. He sees that the Jade Emperor is cocky, but yet has a nice personality to him. Water tastes nice. For once in my life. It doesn't taste like fucking metal. So, anyways, let's continue. It's basically Issei, he does that. And it's basically Issei, he starts cultivating. Now, Issei, he's doing two different cultivation techniques. Buddhist cultivation technique and, well, regular cultivation technique. And they have certain sitting positions for each cultivation technique, so he decides that he's gonna try to create his own. Now, it's really dangerous since, well, he's not used to creating his own techniques. It's basically Issei's body takes in QI, the Taoist energy and QI rather quickly, as a matter of fact. Rather quickly. As basically he sits in a crisscross applesauce position. His hands were together before for the Buddhism cultivation, but then he slightly opened his arm, his hand, basically separated his hand, as if he's creating something in the middle. As that's when it appears. A ball. Or to be exact, a dot. A small white dot, as that's when the dot starts taking in QI, as basically it's taking it in faster and faster by the second. Every second it's going faster and faster, it's taking in QI faster and faster. Even though this is not affecting, well, heaven or anything like that or the world around it, it's surprising. And Kuan Yin's thinking that Issei will burst due to this amount of energy being taken in him. But then she realizes something that practically frightens her. As she notices that Issei, what he's taking in won't even help him ascend. Because the amount he's taking in would help normal people ascend straight away. That amount would have made them ascend straight away. And she's confused. Because this technique just now didn't even help him ascend. He still looks the same, nothing happened, he hasn't even ascended yet. As Issei, she's confused. As Issei, he's already strong as hell. He's probably at least a rank, he's ascendance level 1. That's all. It's basically, that's how it is. It's basically, my apologies. It's basically, Issei, he basically takes in, and like it's getting faster and faster. It's basically Issei, to her it seems like Issei has just duplicated, as if something has happened to his mental state, his physical state, and stuff like that. Kind of like with her, but it was painful. As if now there's 3 sides of Issei. One is in the middle of Issei doing the whole technique that he just created. On his left is, well, the Taoist technique, and on his right is the Buddhist technique. And in his back, it's magic control. As she's confused, because she doesn't know what's going on. As then she looks inside the middle of them. She looks inside the middle of them and she doesn't see anything. As a matter of fact, she sees completely nothing at all. As if it's just plain pitch darkness. Oh my god, hold on. So, yeah. As she looks closely, but then that's when she noticed. Issei right now is an abyss. A limitless, infinite abyss of darkness, emptiness, shallowness, with no restraints. And she's wondering, how, what is this? As then Issei unconsciously says this. Issei, he's currently knocked, just cultivating and knocked. As then Issei says unconsciously, that's the wisdom side of him speak, saying, everyone has limitless potential. It doesn't matter whether one is above the other, we all have the same capabilities, potential, and abilities. It's how you utilize them. As then he says, I am an infinite, endless abyss that represents life, death, everything, and nothing. That which I swallow becomes fuel. Though it may be small, but it'll evolve to be big. And yeah, as basically Kuan Yin finally realizes that Issei, he's an infinite abyss right now. Disturbing him would practically cause a black hole to happen due to the cultivation he's doing. That white dot right there counts as a black hole. And it's when he's finally ascended that it'll end. As basically, she says, okay. As she decides that she's gonna, well, talk to Buddha about this. Hold on. So, yeah, as basically, she tells Buddha about this, and Buddha, well, he's realized that he's in an unconscious state that far surpasses that of nirvana, as Buddha's surprised by this, because, well, he never thought that there was anything higher than nirvana, as this helped him get enlightened. As basically, he goes to check out Issei's, well, training. As basically, that's until they hear a rumble, a really big rumble, as they check outside and they see a really bright light. See a white light with, in the middle there is black but also stars within it. As this is coming from, well, Kuan Yin's, well, home. It's basically, she sees this and, well, she sees that, well, that's a lot of QI energy. As a matter of fact, it should be it's probably at least 500 million times be more denser than before. As she goes to Issei's place, as basically she goes to, well, so yeah, they pulled up to see Issei, well, completely different. For one, his hair is, well, white, as in the picture. You know, it's longer, really long, as you can see in the picture, but also it fades into, well, light blue. So yeah, that's a one up. And, well, his energy is spiking up real high, so Buddha and Kuan Yin can't really get close to him, since at this point he has enough power to just, like, let's be honest here, Chinese mythology is respectfully disrespectful in their own way. These niggas is big body, alright? Like, out of all the mythologies, Chinese mythology is probably the strongest one. Second strongest is Indian mythology. Third strongest is Egyptian mythology. And fourth is Greek mythology. And I'm being honest with you. Like, legitimately, like, Greek mythology is weak compared to the other ones. Like, niggas in Chinese mythology are over here snatching constellation swords out the sky. There are 88 of those swords. 88 of those swords, and each sword represents a different constellation. And they're powerful as hell. Not only that, nigga Buddha has the whole universe at the palm of his hand. So does Wukong. Two strong ass niggas. And the universe is said to be infinitely expanding. And it's only been expanding faster. These mans is big body. They should be feared. Man, I don't know how this world works, bro. It just works the way it does. But anyways, but what if these gods actually exist, but they're not actually gods, they're just super strong dudes? But anyways, let's continue. It's basically Issei. He's practically ascended. He's level one of ascend. He's practically level one ascension, and that's when Issei wakes up. He wakes up, and he knows that he has ascended, and he's fully mastered the technique. Now the technique not only allows him to just take it from one place, it's taking it from everywhere around him. As a matter of fact, it's kind of like making a vortex, as he can start taking energy from stars to galaxies and stuff like that. But he's not able to control galaxies. It's basically, even though he has one that far exceeds the Nirvana, he doesn't really have the universe within his grasp. He's not as strong as Buddha yet. Why? Because they had many more years of experience than Wukong has. No, not Wukong. Issei has. So, yeah. So it's only been like it hasn't been a day since Issei started cultivating. It's only been 3 days. So, yeah. So 7 million more years to go. Issei, he decides that he's gonna take it easy for now. He's gonna spend at least a month with 10 days with them. 10 days with them, 10 days chilling. That's a whole 1 million years. So plenty of time to know, to get to know heaven and stuff like that, the people in heaven. And basically, yeah. So from those 10 days, Issei, has been forming a good relationship with everybody and stuff like that. As then he started getting into a relationship with Kuan Yin. As basically, they became a thing and stuff like that. They haven't done anything like the dirty or the nasty or anything like that. All they did are, hold hands and stuff like that. They kissed, but not all the time. Issei is no longer a pervert due to the scripture that he read from Buddha right after, waking the hell up. So, yeah. As you know, he's hanging around the strong people, and basically during those years, he's been going through the heavenly party in the heavenly palace. That's basically the party where the gods go, and he's met a lot of the gods. He's met the Gold Star of Venus, the Jade Emperor's son, that strong ass dude that faced off against Wukong and actually survived like crazy. Like there's gods that have fought against Buddha and Wukong and survived. Well, current Wukong, I don't think they can. I don't think they can. I highly doubt that they can survive against Wukong. Like the current gods, I don't think they can survive against Wukong. But yeah, in the past, yeah, the ones that beat him in the past, yeah, there was only one that beat him in the past. No, two. There was two, Buddha and that other one. That other one that were gods. I think I don't know. The one with the pet dog. Yeah. So he met them. He met Wukong and stuff like that. It's basically he met Wukong's disciple, that dude that attacked Issei and stuff like that, and he was about to attack Issei, but then he noticed that he doesn't have the Red Dragon Emperor. So he's taking Issei lightly, but he doesn't know that if he attacks Issei right now, he can have his whole world crushed. By crushed, I mean he could just be disintegrated. It's basically, Issei says, okay, as he gets to know Issei. He gets to know Issei, even though he didn't like Issei at first. He got to know Issei, his whole demeanor, what he actually thinks of himself and stuff like that. And he actually feels sorrow for Issei since, he hasn't really heard a story such as that from anyone, because most perverts are not really, disgraceful. But let's be honest, I'd like to bring up an argument here. All men are perverts. All men are perverts. There isn't a single man in the world that is not a pervert. From the age of 10 and up, you're a goddamn pervert. Alright? So, yeah. Him and Issei, he felt pity for Issei, and they became friends. So, yeah. So he went to the party. So yeah, he ate a lot of immortal peaches and stuff like that. He actually got into an argument with Wukong about which peach is actually better. Wukong says it's the strength one, like in terms of taste, not effects, and or the one that gives them immortality. So, yeah, but Buddha came in and said they're both equally the same. Issei knew that damn well, since, well, his knowledge was heightened because of the shit he's capable of right now. As Wukong says, yeah, you're right. As Issei says, indeed. As basically. Now, it's during this party that Issei, he's talking to the other gods and stuff like that. Now, he had clones. He's able to create clones now with creation. And he has the clones cultivating. Now, he doesn't really have to worry because he's ascending at higher levels. Well, he can ascend. He can straight up ascend to at least Emperor's realm, immortal Emperor's realm. But he chooses not to. He chooses not to. So yeah. So yeah. So he has clones cultivating, and he could just magically go all the way, surpassing everybody, even Buddha in Nirvana state. But he says no, he's not gonna do that. Why? Because he respects Buddha too much and Wukong, so he's not gonna do that. His power is still growing, yeah. His power is still growing. He might as well be a martial emperor, martial saint, martial celestial, and stuff like that. He might as well be the strongest, but he chooses not to. He is by far probably one of the strongest currently. He could rival Buddha with relative ease, but he chooses not to. So he decides that he should probably create some stuff, as basically that's when the stars come into place, the constellations. It's basically, he looks at the constellations, all 88 of them, and he sees the swords, and he says, the swords are too weak. They just represent the stars. As he chooses that, he's just going to use the stars for something else. To make the armor. Yes, the armor you see here is made up out of all 88 of those constellations. Now, he made an exact replica of each one of those constellations. An exact replica that works the same way, same strength, nothing. And if he wants to, he can amplify it with his abilities. So, he makes that armor you see in the picture with the constellations. It's basically, yeah, he still has the rose on his head and stuff like that. As then, he makes this sword. And it was not from the stars. It was actually from galaxies. Well, more to be exact, universes. He combined universes to make one gigantic multiverse. And, well, he created the sword. Now, there isn't just one of these swords. There's an infinite amount of those swords. Damn it. Hold on, my bad. There's an infinite number of those swords. They all have the same strength. They start at infinite. The strength is infinite due to the vast expansion of the universe, so the universe is expanding and them are expanding at an alarmingly high rate, so yeah. And basically, that's it. So, him and Kuan Yin have a good relationship and stuff like that. And this all happened in the time span of 3 million years. So, 4 million more years to go. Issei, he decides that, he's gonna enjoy his time, he's gonna relax instead of just cultivate. He'll let his clones do that. So, he stays with Kuan Yin, has a good relationship and stuff like that. Until one day, when it finally hits, 3 million years later, Kuan Yin goes to him and says something that's surprising, as she says, I want to dual cultivate. Now, I stated it before, dual cultivation is not perverse, but nor erotic, but you'll have to be exposed to do it. Yeah. You'll have to be exposed to dual cultivate. As oh my god. So yeah, it's basically now he's kind of confused by this. He has a calm demeanor and stuff like that, but he says, "Are you sure?" As she says, "Yes." As Issa says, "Very well then." So we skip to 3 hours later, and they're finally ready to dual cultivate. Kuan Yin had to gain confidence to actually do it. Sure, she gained confidence to say it, but she didn't think it would escalate that easily. As basically, she says, "Okay." As she gets ready, as they're ready now, and they start the dual cultivation. Now, Issei has done body cultivation, bone refinement cultivation, mind cultivation, spirit cultivation, soul cultivation, and stuff like that. That cultivation method he did works with every type of, his body, his nerves, his muscles, his bones. So, yeah. It's basically, that's when Issei, like him and her, are cultivating until there's a shockwave in all of heaven. And it was not Issei, it was Kuan Yin, who has just been promoted to, Immortal Saint realm. That's above Immortal Emperor realm, by the way. As basically, yeah, she succeeded in it, and Issei says, I guess I'll finish my cultivation after before it's time to go. So, yeah, some time passes, to be more exact, just 3,000 years, 3,000 more years, so 3,000 more years, so there's only 2,700,000 years left, and Issei, on that very day, he proposed to Kuan Yin, and Kuan Yin, she cried tears of joy, saying yes, 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 a million times yes. So yeah, but let's be honest here. The man that created that proposal position, bro, he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. I promise you, that man did not go a day. He did not go a day without thinking, what if she rejects me? I promise you, being said no to, I'll be honest, even me, I don't care if I get rejection when it comes to like relationships, but if I'm proposing to you and you say no, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to use the purpose of this position that I used to propose to you, and I'm gonna uppercut the living crap out of you. I'm gonna uppercut your soul out your body. I'll give you a one-way ticket to God momentarily. Why? Because that is more embarrassing than getting rejected by a crush or anything like that. Because that just hurts the soul. Cause the people you're proposing around, like the people around you, you don't know them niggas at school and stuff like that. You know them. You know them. They know you. You know them. You cool with it. You know them. You know them. You know them. They know you. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't care if they say shit about you. But if it's some random people, nah, bro. They're gonna be talking to their friends. Their friends gonna say to the other friends, family, shit like that, nigga. You're gonna be embarrassed without even knowing it. You're gonna be embarrassed to the world without knowing it. See, this is why I will never propose in public. I'm gonna do that shit at home. You will never see me do that shit in public. I have to be forced to do that in public. I'm not willing to do that. It's not even about public humiliation. Nah, bro. It's about my kid's future reputation, bro. Nah, bro. They gonna see me on the street. They're gonna be like, "Oh, isn't that the guy that thing happened to a few years ago?" But like, they probably forget it by then. But like, damn, bro, I'm not willing to go through that. And yeah, so the wedding is scheduled in a day in heaven time. No, in a week in heaven time. Like, not on Earth time a week. No. We're not doing that. It's basically, the wedding happens, and, they become a thing. They don't have kids yet, so that's one up. Yeah, that's a one up. They don't have kids yet, but yeah. As that's how it goes. So, yeah. So, Kuan Yin and Issei are married now and stuff like that, and basically, yay. Big body work. Issei is big body and stuff like that. He created equipment, he created weapons and shit like that. I think that's a spear in the back of the picture. He got that spear from Buddha. It's a gift. He had it crafted for him personally. He has a lotus flower as well. Kuan Yin gave that to him. His lotus flower is not like the typical pink and yellow. His is actually black and white. Middle is black. Outside, no, the middle is white. Outside, the pebbles are black. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of how it is. And what time is it? Should I keep going? Yeah. All right then. So, yeah, we skip to 1 million years later. No. We skip 7 million years later. No, not 7 million. Damn it. 7,000 years. No, yeah, 7,000 years later. Issei now has 1 year before he goes back to school. He'll come back next summer or anytime he gets a vacation, but yeah, that's basically it. It's basically Issei, he's taking it easy. And he's not really having any, problems. He trains with Wukong's kid, Wukong's students, and stuff like that. Wukong's body was refined for 3 days and 3 nights, but Issei is kind of like Wukong. Wukong was 4 times immortal, I think. Yeah, immortal peach tree, the immortal pill, the immortal wine. What else made him? What was that other thing that made him immortal? Oh yeah, that magic training he had that made him immortal. Yeah, that person. So he learned the 79 transformations. The 79 earthly transformations. Now, not the full 72. I meant not the full 72 earthly transformations. Why? Because again, the 72 represents how much lives Wukong has. So Issei doesn't really have that. Not only that, he can't really be hurt. So there's no dying for him. Old age, never heard of her. So yeah. Eternity, never heard of him. Death, never heard of him. So yeah. So his demeanor is so this is basically how he works. Everything to him, everything in his eyes are nothing yet something at the same time. There's nothing in the world that he can't see. He can see everything, but he can't at the same time. It's either he refuses to, or he innately doesn't see it, but sees it. There's nothing that can't be concealed from him, unless he wants it to be concealed from him. Anyways, so, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. There have been many anime characters that have been nerfed. A lot. And I mean a lot. Especially in My Hero Academia, there's 3. But in this one, I feel like the most nerfed character was Issei and Volley. Issei and Volley are just 2 nerfed motherfuckers, bro. Especially their abilities. They're nerfed. Like in the anime, yeah, they're definitely nerfed. Especially Issei. I promise you. The writers made him a pervert for a reason. That's his nerf. They made him a pervert for a reason. Why? Because that shit makes him happy. If he has any strong negative emotions, oh nah. Let's just say it wouldn't have ended well for that whole series. I promise you. Every arc would have ended in one foul swoop. One punch and it's done. I promise you. Volley could have destroyed the whole planet. Yo, this man Volley could have legitimately flew real high and started dividing the planet until that shit is nothing. Like, y'all never really. Yo, that show was nerfed. Nerfed badly. Not only that, Azazel was nerfed. That nigga was over here creating gears. He was over here creating gears. Bro, what? That nigga was nerfed. A lot too. Nah, bro. I promise you. And it's not even like the main characters is getting nerfed, the side characters is getting nerfed, the villain is getting nerfed. Everybody's getting nerfed. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. I promise you, if solo leveling ever comes out, I think it's scheduled to come out in 2022. That shit's gonna be nerfed. Jinwoo's gonna be nerfed like crazy. They're gonna nerf him. But anyways, yeah. So yeah. So yeah. One year left, and Issei, he's basically minding his business. You know, he's taking a stroll down the street. You know, he's minding his own business. Issei, you know, has the ability to create things. Now Issei, he'd rather have like a regular human's mind, a regular human's brain capabilities. He unlocked it in his infinite potential once, but he said no. Why? Because he wouldn't have a challenge. And most of you would think that, oh, if you have an infinite potential with infinite usage of your brain, why would you bring that down? Why? Because of the challenge. Challenges are what makes you grow. If you don't have any, you're not growing. You're a smart dumbass. Like, literally, you're a smart dumbass. You're a limitless dumbass. You're a limitless retard. I promise you. Like, what? Like, what? There is no way in hell that you would be smart if you don't have any challenges. Like, the hell? There are two types of experiences. Physical experiences and mental experiences. I want you to think, how does mental experiences help you? Actually, they're more helpful to physical experiences than physical experiences are to us. Oh, dear God. Anyways, yeah, so that's kind of how it goes. As basically, Issei says, alright, as basically, for the time being, he'll just chill while his clones do work and stuff like that, as basically summer breaks over. Alright? Summer breaks over. It's about to be over. It's about to turn 12. As basically everything is about to end. Alright? It's about to turn 12. As it's about to be like his last like few hours with the people in heaven. As Issei, he's about to show them something spectacular. And that's him, well, transcending all of eternity. He's gonna be something far beyond Buddha. As basically, Issei, he's about to break through, right? He's about to break through, but Issei, he decides that he's not gonna break through with just one technique. He's gonna fuse the techniques together and bring it back into his body. As the clones, they don't disappear, they start getting back together until there's only one clone and one Issei. As the clone and Issei fuse, as the moment they fuse, a big shockwave is sent throughout all of eternity, existence, and stuff like that. It's not harming it, it's just releasing a high amount of power. Now, he made it so that it doesn't affect it, so that the people don't feel it, but the planets, the stars, and stuff like that, yeah, they can feel it. The creatures, the humans, the beasts, the angels, the demons, they can't feel it. They can't feel his power. That's bad. Anyways, so yeah, that's what happens. And it's basically, it goes boom. As they say, he fully, ascended. He transcended, to be exact. He's transcended that of all life existence, and currently he has a title, a really interesting title, the Unknown Entity. He's known by the gods and stuff like that, but what he actually is unknown. For one, he can be a god, a human, animal, plant, whatever it is. So it's kind of hard to distinguish him. As a matter of fact, he's kind of like truth. I'm not gonna lie. You may be thinking that the creator is the strongest anime character, but let's be honest here. Truth is probably the only person that could rival the creator. And you may be wondering, what? The creator is the strongest anime character? Yeah, I acknowledge him as the strongest anime character. But Truth is a different breed. And it's only because of what Truth represents. Truth represents somebody's truth. See, whether you be an angel, demon, fallen angel, archangel, human, animal, plant, you have a truth. You have a way of perceiving things. You have a way of perceiving the world. So the way you see the world, like the truth of the world around you, that's what truth is. So that man is kind of broken. So if the creator sees the world as, well, the game or something that can possibly combat him, yeah, it'll be something that can combat him. And the funny thing is, he can't change that truth. Why? Because deep down inside, he knows what that truth is. He knows that's his truth. So for example, my truth, like my truth against the creator, it'd be a standstill. An infinitely long standstill. So, yeah. I know, right? An infinitely long standstill. There's no end to it. It began but never ended. Like, at this point, they might as well be on good terms. Just become best friends. Because if y'all ever fight again, they're not win. Nobody's winning. Nobody's losing. So yeah, as Issei, after making that shockwave in that hour, he has 5 minutes left before he leaves. He kisses Kuan Yin. Still has the ring. He takes the armor off and puts on regular clothes. Like, he can't be walking around with just armor, even though he's been walking around with that shit for the longest. But Issei thought of an alternative. Fuse that shit within his body. As you can see in the picture, yeah, fuse that shit within his body. As he does that, he fuses it within his body. His hair turns back to the brown color. It's basically his hair is shortened again. He shortened his hair. He didn't cut it, he shortened it. Hair manipulation would be possibly one of the greatest things that a human can have. Especially in my hands. I'd be the next Darkseid, but more advanced. More dangerous. But anyways, yeah. So, he goes back. And he sits down. As Kuan Yin, during the time with Kuan Yin told him what Drake told him. So, he felt sad about losing his partner, but he can't do anything about that. So, he gets home. The house is still the same. You may be thinking, oh, Rias probably would have taken it away by now. Man, Sir Zex is still on Issei's side. But anyways, so yeah, that's how it is. So, the equipment, the armor is gone, but regular clothes is on. Let's go. That kind of rhyme. The armor is off, regular clothes is on. No, it doesn't rhyme anymore. Disgusting. The armor is gone, regular clothes are on. Okay, that rhymes, yes. Alright then, so that's kind of how it is. And that's why I'm going to be leaving it off for part 1 of What If Issei Was Betrayed. So yeah, I'm actually excited about this. I don't think it'll last that long, like be one of the longest series I had, but still, it's gonna be a good series nonetheless. It's not gonna be as long as what if Naruto had the Rin Sharingan and the Tensei Gun, but still, it's gonna be long in its own way. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been part one of what if Issei was betrayed. So yeah, if you have anything else you want me to add, I'm not adding another ship. I'm keeping the ship as Kuan Yin, but anything else like another power, another ability, hell, if you want me to make this man fight Big Red and Ophis, hell, you can make me fight or make him fight every demon, every angel, hell, fight the heavenly army, fight Buddha. No, actually no, just fight the demons or fight Ray, or like he's gonna end up fighting Ray, but like if you want me to add any more powers, yeah, just tell me in the comments. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Lotus What Is with What If Issei Was Betrayed, and yeah, by my little stars.